Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks and another sort of lockdown news roundup, although I'm finding it increasingly difficult to talk about the news as so much of it just seems like a script. I mean, seriously, it's all resembling and unravelling like some nightmarish movie or a tragedy or a comedy. I mean, here's some comedy. This is puppet tyrant number 1, Daniel Andrews, who is so eager and excited to announce another load of draconian rules in Victoria, Australia, he doesn't stop for a second to realise they are completely nonsensical.
There will be no removal of masks to consume alcohol outdoors. So you will no longer be able to remove your mask to drink a cocktail at a pop-up beer garden on a footpath as part of a pub crawl.
Yep, if you're drinking outside now, you can't remove your mask. Okay, you got that? What are you expected to do then? Drink through the material of the mask? He's a clown. Next time I see this fella, I half expect him to be frothing at the mouth. Are these people getting off on all of this? I think they are. They are all seriously getting off on these power trips that they're on. What is up with these people? They all seem to be like evil villains from a movie. Puppet tyrant number 2, Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, saying yesterday that they have now moved into lockdown level 4 because of one case?
Stay local and do not congregate. Don't talk to your neighbours. Please keep to your bubbles. It comes down again to those very simple principles. We know from overseas cases of the Delta variant that it can be spread by people simply walking past one another. So keep those movements outside to the bare minimum, wear a mask, and make sure you keep up that physical distancing.
And here we have puppet tyrant number 3, the creepiest, the cheesiest, possibly of them all, Justin Trudeau. Here he is talking about being called a tyrant and how he now wants to call a snap election. This will max out the creeper meter.
We've seen situations where conservative backbenchers have referred to some of this government's decisions as tyrannical in terms of how we're creating mandates for vaccination of public servants or vaccination of people on trains and airplanes. Well, the answer to tyranny is to have an election.
Ugh, this guy, he just oozes insincerity from every pore. I mean, in all fairness, they are all like this, but this one, he just seems to do it that little bit more. And he is very confident of winning his snap election, isn't he? I wonder why that is. Of course, this is the guy who made a big fuss over the Great Reset being a conspiracy, while slowly implementing all of their plans. Just another in a long line, a huge cast now of creepy caricature puppet tyrant villains. And every country at the moment seems to have their own relevant bad guy. And they really seem to be enjoying their power trips, like most movie villains do. Talking of movies, I was watching the first Indiana Jones movie last night. Haven't seen it in years. You know, the one with the Ark of the Covenant. You remember the end of the film when the evil Hitler's henchmen open the Ark and Indiana Jones, who's tied to a pole with his girlfriend, he turns to her and says, "Whatever you do, don't look at it, no matter what happens." And of course, these angels of God come out of the ark and destroy everyone apart from them too, because they didn't allow themselves to be subjected to it, or they wouldn't look at it, and therefore were disconnected from it. Now, for some reason, this got me thinking about everything that's happening now and wondering, are we ever going to get to a situation like that? Will we ever get to a point where we should close our eyes and not look anymore in order to protect ourselves from something that we have no control over? Are we in that situation now with the mainstream media? Now, I'm not saying that in the future there will be angels of destruction flying around us and that we shouldn't look at it, but you never know though, anything is possible. But we do seem to, at this moment in time, like in that movie, we have a deeply sinister organisation, a world organization, a global agenda of power-tripping control freaks, all reading from the same hymn sheet, all dancing to the same tune, all trying to control the world and control the majority of the public of the world for power and using technology in order to do it. You know, I don't know about you, but can you not sense the darkness that is out there? It's tangible. And I don't believe, Mr. and Mrs. Average are as ignorant to what is going on as we may believe or may think. You can tell by their total silence on this particular subject. There is a reluctance to talk about it whatsoever. A lot of people, I feel, are just too scared, too afraid to put their head above the parapet because, well, they've maybe kind of unwittingly chosen a side they are now not comfortable with. It's all very strange. And just like in the movie, there is an evil organization who want ultimate power, and they want the Ark of the Covenant. They want to try and have a direct connection with God, and they want to use this for their own means because they believe it will make them more powerful. And today we can see the same thing. All these organizations trying to gain more and more power, wanting to play at God. Like people like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, wanting to block out the sun, wanting to buy all of the farmland and create artificial lab-grown meat and artificial lab-grown baby milk, releasing Frankenstein mosquitoes, interfering with the natural balance of the earth because for some reason they feel they know better and that they have the right to determine the future of everyone under the sky. They have a God complex. These people, like the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, also with their carbon zero bollocks, all trying to interfere with the natural balance of nature. But if we look back throughout history at those in power who get off on such power tripping, who get off on pushing everyone into submission and trying to control way too much, it always ends in their destruction. They always end up biting off more than they can chew. Their egos, their greed, their hunger for power, it never ends well for them. Look throughout history, look at the myths, look at the stories, from Frankenstein back to the Bible, to whatever, it always ends the same. We have CERN with their 666 logos and their striving to find the God particle. Yeah, all of these scientists are always trying to explain the unexplainable, reduce everything to numbers and equations. Yet their biggest quest is to find the God particle, as they call it, or the particle which gave all matter its mass, because they are obsessed with wanting to be the ultimate creator by trying to find the first supernatural Lego block of the universe. It says a lot that science apparently spends so much time and money trying to debunk the supernatural, and yet they create CERN to find the God particle. Science always attempting to explain everything, always wanting to take the mystery out of stuff. Look, if you drink a lot of alcohol, of course, can be called spirits, okay, like whiskey or vodka. When people drink a lot, they usually behave badly. They get mischievous. They drink too much. They make an ass out of themselves. They become argumentative. They become little troll versions of themselves. Yeah, sometimes, all right, yeah, you get a happy drunk, but that's kind of rare. But if you drink a serious amount, and then you can't remember what you did the night before, and say someone comes up to you the next day and they say, "Oh, did you know what you did last night? Do you remember what you said?" And you'll say, "No, I can't remember anything." And it turns out you tried to start a fight with so-and-so and you said this terrible thing. I've always found this really strange. Yeah, I know alcohol and spirits, they lower your inhibitions, but why does it nearly always make you act like a horrible person, especially when you drink a serious amount? It's not something that, as far as I know, that science properly explains. It's been said that those who lack spirit drink alcohol or spirits in order to gain Dutch courage. A spirit is described as being either non-physical, ethereal, being like a soul, or a distilled alcoholic beverage or a volatile liquid. I've always thought it was strange that people drink copious amounts of spirits and then end up not knowing or remembering what they were doing, usually acting in a horrible way to themselves and to other people. I mean, some people describe they turn into someone else, they act out of character, as if they themselves have become possessed by a spirit. Anyway, look, I'm going way off on a tangent here. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that I've always felt all is not as it seems. I just feel personally that many things are not explainable, and maybe we don't need someone to explain them. And these power-mad control freaks believe they have everything under control, that science and numbers and years of planning, and there's nothing that can go wrong. They are so confident, which is what that slimy Justin Trudeau epitomizes at the start of this video. He's so confident that everything is going his way, their way. Well, we will see. Karma, nature, all have a habit of leveling the playing field. And maybe at some point in the future, all these negative forces of energy that we can feel now, that are being pushed around the world, that negative energy that we can all sense, that darkness or something will push back and level the playing field, as it always does. And when that happens, when karma comes a-calling, it may be wise to keep out of its way, like in the movie. Don't look at it. Don't subject yourself to it. Keep out of the way. Let the universe do its job. Don't let it drag you in. There is a saying, isn't there? Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, which nearly always usually leads to self-destruction. This is a tale that has been told time and time again. The same themes, the same ancient narratives, from Greek gods to Roman gods to Christianity throughout history, and the story always ends up the same way. If these smug power control freaks believe that this time it's going to be different, I believe they have another think coming. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place for like-minded souls who don't follow the fake stream media.